Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Nina and Sip Show. Today, we're going to be reviewing the movie White Tiger, which is out on Netflix.
When I first saw him, I knew then this was the master for me. I want to be a driver for your son.
Hey, how much rope?
Hey, don't do that.
So the film is based on the 2008 best-selling novel by Arvind Adhika. So a little fun fact, the director and the author have actually been good friends since college, and the author actually dedicated his book to the future filmmaker of his book.
So the movie White Tiger has a stellar star cast with Priyanka Chopra Jonas as Pinky, Rajkumar Rao as Ashok, and the lead Adarsh Gaurav as Balram Halwai.
So the story is basically a rags to riches tale. And we have Balram, who's from the lower caste, and he's really trying to struggle to kind of make something of himself because he is smart and he does have the little bit of, conniving nature required to make it. So he becomes the driver to Priyanka and Rajkumar Rao. And it's kind of a tale of how he struggles to get up, but is also kind of suppressed, and how he's working through, he resents the system, but he's trying to work through it to get somewhere in his life. And everything is kind of hunky-dory up until they get into an accident one night. And then the story kind of takes off from there. We're not going to tell you the ending because that you're going to have to watch the film for, how he kind of tries to fight the system, but it's definitely worth the watch.
So I think what really worked for me is the way they portrayed the two worlds in India. You have your lower class, your villages, and how people are trying to break out of that mold, most of the times very, very unsuccessfully. And then they show the affluent lifestyle. And, people have this preconceived notion that just because you have money or come from a particular family, things come easy to you. But that's not really the case. And you see their struggles, be it with their family, with, their loved ones or business, the different frustrations. And I think that they portrayed excellently.
So this film really did work for me, even though it gets kind of uncomfortable to watch at times. I think it is definitely, it shows kind of a harsh reality. As someone who who's grown up here in the States and moved to India for school for a 2-year program later, I think I could relate to so much of it, because I think when you initially reach there, there's so many aspects that really, get to you, that bother you, and you wonder, like, why is it like this? And then 6 months down the line, it becomes like you start to normalize it in your head, And so I think there's a bit of an uncomfortable reality in this movie, at least for me. Even though, like you were saying, you could see a little bit of Pinky in what I had said, I still feel like her character, looking at her, and I was like, she has this condescending kind of, underlying attitude.
I'm Pinky, nice to meet you.
Balram, have you ever seen a computer?
We had many of them in the village with the goats.
The goats are pretty advanced to use computer.
Okay, now you're being a jerk.
This movie does an excellent job of showing the dynamic between, of course, someone who is trying to come up the ladder but just cannot find a way, and then someone who's already up here and feels that, so much authority they feel, I think, overly privileged, right? That they have the ability to talk down to someone, to slap them whenever they want, which is obviously just inhumane.
I feel that was also depicted not only for the affluent, that they can treat people badly. I think even in the case of Balram, the way he treated, that little kid that came in towards the end,
Yes.
or how the chauffeurs themselves or the domestic staff would, congregate at night, or when their masters are out partying, when they congregate, and the way they speak, that's very derogatory as well. And I don't think that it's limited to from upper class looking down at a lower class.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Yeah.
So I think one of the most powerful dialogues for me in the movie was, do we loathe our masters behind a facade of love, or do we love our masters behind a facade of loathing?
Yeah, it definitely makes you think, right?
So while watching this movie, Nina, for me, it really stayed with me, this dialogue. while going through, while just watching all the scenes, I kept thinking about what do the staff probably think about us? People who drive us around or they work in our homes. We do our best to treat them with respect and equality. But is our respect and equality really equality?
I think, for example, I know that, I had a non-Indian friend come visit me when I was in India. And the first thing she noticed was that, the help or the servant sits on the floor and, isn't ever asked to be sitting on on the chair. It's so striking when you first come to India and you see all these things that really kind of affect you and bother you. But then, of course, 6 months down the road, it's kind of a weird normalization that happens in your head. And you're like, oh, well, this is just how it is. And then, of course, through a film like this, you're reminded, no, it definitely shouldn't be like that. I think if I had to describe the film in a nutshell, I'd say it's an uncomfortable reality between a rigid caste system and ambition.
The White Tiger is not your stereotypical Bollywood movie. You're not going to see people running around trees and dancing around. You're not going to see any of that. It is power packed with great dialogue delivery, some fantastic acting. The cinematography is just absolutely brilliant. The way they capture, whether it's the villages or Delhi and all of it. I think it's just a fantastic movie, really, really well made.
It is done really well. And I know some people are going to draw it back to Slumdog Millionaire or Parasite. But I do feel like this is done really well. And I feel like, obviously, I think Slumdog kind of gives you kind of a dreamy sense. And in the end, they kind of do put in that Bollywood punch with the song and dance. But here we don't see any of that. It is very performance based. And you're just left, with such a feeling like you start to question yourself, what is your role in all of this? And I think that's the biggest thing of the film. It does make a point and it stays with you, which as a filmmaker, that's what you want your audience, you hope that the film stays with them. You hope that it sparks some kind of discussion. So for me, they were successful in this.
We're not going to give away how he becomes a master and, breaks all tradition, because we really recommend you guys watching The White Tiger. We really enjoyed it. And there are just so many takeaways, and we hope it's the same for you guys.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think about the movie in the comments below.
Yeah. Until next time, take care.
Bye, guys.